Hello and welcome back. I'm Jennifer Mata-McMahon. I thought I'd share with you today a makeup look that I wear on a daily basis, and it is a natural, everyday, work appropriate look that is what I typically go for. So we're in my bathroom, which is where I typically do my makeup in the mornings, and I am barefaced because I wanted to show you how I do this everyday makeup look that is work appropriate. If you hear creaking, the neighbors upstairs. It's part of condo living in the city, in a building that has poor insulation and not a lot of noise protection between one floor and the next. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to show you what I have on my face already as I have prepped it, and then I'm going to run you through the products that I use and the way that I apply them, and hopefully show you how I do it. Part of the video is going to be me talking to you as I apply my makeup, and part of it is going to be sped through, and I will do some voiceover on it to explain what I'm doing as you can see me applying the products. Also, my mirror is to my left, so I'll be looking towards this side often because I need to see what I'm doing as I'm doing it. But I'll show you the products, and I'll hopefully show you the application and how the application looks like as we move forward with the application of the makeup. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I've already prepped my face, and in doing so I washed my face in the shower with the Cetaphil facial cleansing wash that I used daily. I think it's called the Daily Facial Cleanser, and I use the normal to oily skin one for my face. But I use this toner on top, and this is the Paula's Choice Skin Balancing Pore Reducing Toner, and I use this every morning before I apply makeup, right after I cleanse my face. After that, I go in with a moisturizer with SPF, and I'm right now trying to use up my Paula's Choice Resist Youth Extending Daily Mattifying Fluid. This one has SPF 50, and it's a moisturizer with SPF. This one comes out white and very liquidy, so it has no tint. It doesn't color correct or does anything to my face as a primer. It's just a moisturizer with SPF, so I need a primer on top of that. So I went in with my beloved that they don't make anymore, unfortunately, the Estee Edit Pore Vanishing Stick, and as you can see, I'm completely out, but I go with my finger and apply it on my nose, which is my sort of problem area for my pores. And then I did an all-over face primer. I used the Pores No More Pore Refiner Primer by Dr. Brandt, and this one also is on its last leg. I'm trying to use it up as well to finish it up. I love this primer. It really blurs, it protects, and they claim that you could use it as a tinted moisturizer, like a CC cream, or do you wear this and nothing else? But I go with a foundation on top of this and concealer, so I don't leave it at that. So that's my face prep. That's what's on my face right now. So we start with the foundation. After the face is prepped and primed, foundation. And I'm using the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation by Too Faced, and I use the shade Warm Nude if you're interested. And I am trying out this huge, it looks like one of those footballs that kids use to play in the pool. The Nerf balls, yeah. But no, this is the Real Techniques body, and I think it's body, I don't know if it's body and face, but I'm using it for the face because I heard a YouTuber recommend it and said that she could do her base really quickly, her foundation really quickly, because this is so massive and so big, and I found that to be true. So I'm going to do that. I just pour a few pumps of the foundation onto the back of my hand, and I dot that on my face, and then go in with the humongous sponge. flat side to it, and that's what I'm using to spread out my foundation. I found this foundation is quite good after I stopped using that setting spray that was making it really sticky. Now it's not. And even in the 90-degree weather that we've been having and the humidity, it's held up, and it holds up the entire day. It breaks up around my nose at the end of the day, and that's the only thing that I've noticed, but it's because my nose is the oily part of my face, the only oily part of my face. And what I've noticed is at the end of the day, nothing stays there. I get redness around my nose, and the foundation kind of disappears from my nose. But other than that, this foundation really holds up very, very well. And this color, I found it's a smidge darker than the rest of my body. But it's as dark as, say, my shoulders and my arms, which are exposed to the sun. But if you look at my neck and my chest, this part is a little bit lighter. So I just drag it down a little bit to match. Primer. Sometimes I do this before the foundation, but I prime my eyelids so that my eyeshadow stays, and I find my eyelids are the other part of my face. It's a little bit oily. I'm using the Catrice Prime and Fine eyeshadow base, and as you can see, it has this doe foot applicator. Just spread it across your eyelids, and then I go in with my fingers and spread it all over. It doesn't stay too tacky, but if you don't like that, then you can set it with powder too. Okay, then I'm going to go in with concealer. This is the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer, and I use the shade Light Beige or 020. And what I do is I just put some dots under my eyes, and then go with the pointy tip of the sponge, the pointy side of the sponge, and blend that in. Because I put primer on my lids, I don't need concealer there, but if not, I would go with the sponge all over my lids and prime my lids with concealer. So if you don't have an eyelid primer, your concealer might work for that too. Okay, and now because I have breakouts and my face is not liking me right now, I use this concealer for blemishes. This has salicylic acid. This is from Neutrogena, and it's called the Skin Clearing Micro Clean Blemish Technology Concealer. It doesn't say concealer anymore, but that's what it is. It's a concealer. And you just twist it up, and it has a spongy applicator, and just apply it on top of, more on this side, the blemishes. And you could go back in with your sponge, or I like, because the sponge takes away the product, I go back in with a brush, and this is the Flawless Concealer brush from e.l.f. And just pat it in. Blend the edges so it doesn't look like I have. I use this one in light, but there is a medium color that might be best if you have a little bit of a darker skin, because it should be your same skin tone. It shouldn't be light like the concealer that you put under your eyes. This is to illuminate and to cover the dark circles, but the concealer for covering blemishes should be the same color of your skin, so that you don't want to highlight or bring attention and light to blemishes, right? So it needs to be either the color of your skin or the color of your foundation to hide it, to disguise the blemish. Okay, so now I set. And for setting, I use two different powders. One for my under eye area, I use my NYX HD Finishing Powder in Banana, and this one is a repurchase. I've already gone through an entire one of this powder, and I already hit pan on this one. So you can tell that I use this every day. And I just pat, 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 and powder, and I'm going to set that primer that I put on the lid as well. So I'll do that. You can use this powder, and sometimes I've done that to set my entire face, or to set areas where I want light, like the center of the forehead, and down the bridge of the nose, because I want that to be a little more illuminated. And then use either a translucent powder or a powder that is the color of my skin tone or the color of my foundation to mattify the rest of my face. But today I'm going to go with the Stay Matte by Rimmel. And in this one, I have it in Creamy Natural, which is a color that, as you can see, is very light. But it works for my skin tone. And there is a translucent powder of this one. This one's incredibly, incredibly good. I'm using the It Cosmetics, I think this is a foundation brush, actually. Okay, so that's it. My face is prepped. I'll keep this brush handy, and I will use it to correct any mistakes or blend things out if I need to. Okay, so next, contouring, bronzer, highlight, blush, eyeshadow. Let's do it. Okay, so for contouring, I am going to use the Smashbox face palette. It's called the Cali Contour Shape Bronze Glow palette, and it has bronzing shades, contouring shades. I use this to contour, this to bronze, and this to highlight. This is the blush, and it's a little dark for me, but I'll use it today as well. This could be used to set as instead of the banana powder that I used, and this is another highlighter. So if your skin tone is darker, this might work well for you. Let's do this. So when I'm contouring, I want to use a smaller brush that gives me a little more precision, and this is from Real Techniques, and this is actually the setting brush, I believe. And it's supposed to be used to set the under eye concealer, to set with the powder, but I use the e.l.f. brush for that every day, religiously. I use the e.l.f. brush for that. So this brush I use as a contouring brush because it gives me that precision that I need. And I also go in and contour my nose a bit. I've never liked my nose. I feel like I have this little round ball on the tip of my nose, and I wish it was slimmer, and contouring allows me to do that, to fake the slimness that I don't have on my nose. Okay, then I'm going to use this for bronzer, and this is the e.l.f. complexion brush. Now I'm going to highlight with the e.l.f. highlighting brush. Let's use that blush in here that I think is a little bit too dark for a blush for me, but let's do it. It's pretty, it's just not bright. It's more like a fall time brush, I think, than a summer one. Okay, face is done. I have foundation, I have concealer, I have powder, I have highlight, contour, bronzer, and blush. We're good to go. Now the eyes. For the eyes, I'm going to use this Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. I recently purchased, this is an old palette, it's been in the market years now, but they recently had a 50% off sale at Ulta, and that's why I got it. And it has, and the reason why I got it too is because it has great cool tone colors, and I like cool tone. I know people love warm tone, but I like cool tone. So let me switch off my brushes and bring out my eyeshadow brushes handy. And I first go with a fluffy brush, and this is the Luxie 205, and it's called the Taper Blending Brush. I love this brush. It came in an Ipsy bag some time ago, and I haven't stopped using it yet. I'm going with Almond Truffle, this shade right up here. I'm putting that in my crease, actually to create a crease. I have hooded eyes, so if I look straight forward, you can't really see my lid. If I look down, you can see my lid, but it's tiny. So in order to create the illusion of a bigger eye, I go with my brush above my crease. So the crease is right there, that fold that you get when you open your eyes. I go above that fold to create the illusion that my crease is further up than it actually is. So I'm going with a little darker color. This one's called Mocha, and I'm going to put that in the outer part of my eye, the outer V, as they call it. So I could potentially leave it as is, right? Leave it like this and say, okay, that's enough eyeshadow. We're good in terms of color and depth that I have in my eyes. But I could go a little deeper as well, even for a daytime look and office appropriate. So I would go either with this color, it's called a dark truffle, or with this color called malted, and I'm going to go with malted to deepen a little bit the eye. For the longest time didn't wear shadows because I didn't have any, but I didn't have any because I didn't know how to use them. And it wasn't after watching many tutorials about 4 years ago, I started wearing eyeshadow, started buying eyeshadow palettes, and I just had those CoverGirl quads or trios. I had 2 of those, and I had had them forever, and those are the only eyeshadows I owned. And then I started getting into makeup much more and bought palettes and watched tutorials to see how to apply these colors, and I still watch tutorials. I buy palettes and I look for tutorials on looks using that particular palette, and then I'll recreate them. I love doing that because they come up with color combinations that I would not come up with, because for a daily basis I have to look very neutral, very like this, what I'm showing you today. So I would not come up with the combinations that some of these YouTubers come up with, that are either because they're makeup artists or because they're just very creative, and come up with these purples and greens and blues and pinks that I was like, wow. Orange is very much in right now. Orange looks and warm looks. So there, so it's deepened up a little bit. So I am going to go with a smaller brush. Oh, this was, by the way, this is also a look-see one, and it looks like the brush that I was using before, but this is the 229, and this is a smaller tapered blending brush than the other one. So in comparison, see, they look similar, but one is much smaller than the other one. So I'm going to go with this one that I got in an Ipsy bag as well, from a brand, I don't even know what the brand is. INSPR, INSPR, and it's called the Fluff 282 brush. And I use this too, and I'm going to go with Divinity to highlight under my brow bone. Just a little bit, because since I have hooded eyes, I can't drag that white color too low, because then all you'll see is that part of my eye and nothing else. So just a little bit to open it up a bit, but not drag it down. Okay, and then I am going to put a little bit under my lower lash line, and I'm going to use, I used this one the other day, and I'm going to use a Morphe MB27 brush, and I'm going to go with Malted, that dark shadow, and run it on the lower lash line and on the upper lash line too. See the difference? Eyelined, not eyelined. Okay, so now, that was loud. Now I'm going to go with eyeliner, and I use, my favorite eyeliner is the Lottie London AM to PM Kohl eyeliner pencil in Mocha, and it's brown, and it's practically the same shade as that Malted shade that I used before, and I use that on my under I use that in my waterline, my lower waterline, and my upper waterline. It deepens the eyes. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm going to curl my eyelashes, put on some mascara, do my eyebrows, and I'll show you what I used after I've done that. So for my eyelashes, I used my Shiseido eyelash curling device. I used this, and then I went in with my Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara. This is in black. I think it's the only color they have. I love this mascara. As you can see, it lengthens and darkens and volumizes and does everything. But I always get it under the side, just right there. So I went in with my e.l.f. makeup remover or corrector pen and dabbed it a little bit, cleaned it out a little bit. So I'm going to do my eyebrows, and I already combed them through with the spoolie part, and then I'm going to fill them in with the e.l.f. brow pencil, and I use the color taupe, and I'm just going to fill them in a little bit. I have bushy eyebrows, so I have to get them waxed and threaded, and because they grow out of control. So I don't have to fill in, I don't have to like make those hair stroke mimics of hair kinds of lines in my eyebrows. I don't have to do that, thankfully, because I can imagine how time consuming that is. But I do like to fill them in a little bit because I have sparse areas. From the threading and the waxing that I've endured throughout my life, I've gotten some hairs removed that shouldn't have removed. So I have some sparse areas. Not all waxing places, eyebrow places, are great. I've had some nasty things done to my brows before that I've regretted over the years going to those places because the person doing my brows did not have a clue what they were doing. And then I set it in with my NYX Control Freak eyebrow gel, and this is clear, there's no color to it, and I just put this in. It's sort of like hairspray for your brows. It holds it in, or hair gel. It holds your brows in place, and the color, whatever you tinted them with, is held in place as well. So there you go, the brows. Now let's move on to the lips. Is the only thing missing, and then the setting spray, and we're done. So for my lips, I'm going to use the lip liner from Milani, and this one is in number 04, all natural. So that was the lip liner, and then I'm going to go in with my L'Oreal Glossy Fawn color 900. And this formula, everybody raves about it because it's incredibly good. It is really moisturizing on the lips. But this color is really light, so if I line my lips to give them definition and then fill them in with the lip liner and then top it off with this, I'll ensure that I'll have color in my lips for a longer period of time than if I just go straight with a lipstick and sort of eat it away or talk it away. I'll just have lipstick for a longer time. Okay, so now let's get the setting spray, and we are done with the makeup. So for setting spray, I'm going with a Scandinavia, the Makeup Finishing Spray, and this is the bridal one. Hard. And I typically shake it and then apply it. This finishing spray is the bombiggity. I have, oh, something I haven't showed you is I usually have this on my lap and I clean out brushes, so if I want to store them away clean, taking the product off of them, but if I want to reuse them, for example, eye brushes, if I want to reuse them, I would clean them out here or with a color switch as well, and reuse them. So that's it. Another thing I do, I go back to that IT Cosmetics powder brush, and I kind of make sure that my face isn't completely sticky. And I go in with my e.l.f. Small tapered brush, and I make sure my under eyes are good. And if I cleaned up like I did for that eye, I'll go in with my banana powder again and powder a little bit under that right eye that I cleaned up, because I had the mascara smudge. So there it is, that's the finished look. I hope you liked it, I hope you enjoyed it. This is typically a look that I go for when I'm going to work or when I'm heading out the door on the weekends, and nothing too fancy. But as you can see, a lot of eye-wise, nothing too fancy eye-wise, but you can see that a lot of products were used. And my face is entirely made up. So I hope you liked it. I'll see you again soon. Bye.